When a golf course has a warning sign, that can only mean one thing. It has to be tough. Coming up on Golf Central, we take a look at what the best in the game will need to do to break par in the first playoff event of 2016.
Plus, it's a big week for guys on the Ryder Cup bubble. Hear from some of the players just outside the top 8 for Davis Love III's squad, including one player who thinks his undefeated U.S. team record will go a long way at Hazeltine.
Plus, he says putting is holding him back. We will take a closer look to find out what's bothering Rory McIlroy on the greens. It's all ahead right now on Golf Central.
Golf Central. Brought to you by Titleist.
The countdown to the playoffs is officially on, and we're here to get you ready for it. Welcome to Golf Central. I'm Lisa Cornwell. 4 final events in a 5-week span to determine who will take home the $10 million season-ending bonus. The top 125 in the FedEx Cup standings qualified for this week's Barclays. 120 are in the field this week. Then it's down to the top 100 in Boston, the top 70 in the BMW Championship, and only 30 will advance to the Tour Championship. That's in late September. The top 3 players in the FedEx Cup standings are grouped together in the first couple of rounds, starting with an 8:26 Eastern tee time tomorrow morning. Jason Day, #1 in points with 3 wins this season, including the Players. Dustin Johnson, he's #2 in the standings, off of 2 wins this season, including its first major title in the U.S. Open. How will DJ perform? And Adam Scott, he's #3 in points, 2 wins this season also for Scott. Both of those coming during the Florida Swing and back-to-back events from him. Let's hear from this trio about the week ahead.
The ultimate goal for me is to stay in the top 5. You know, getting into Tour Champs. If I can win the Tour Champs there, I guarantee myself a win, and the FedEx Cup if I can win there. Get the push that I had last year. You know, I won the Barclays last year, and that gave me a good run to, you know, through Deutsche Bank, and then obviously onto the BMW where I won again. And then I think by Tour Champs, it was just a difficult week for me because I couldn't really get anything clicked together. So hopefully with the week off that I have after the 3rd one, I get some good rest and I'll be able to, you know, fire in for Tour Champs.
My game's okay. I'm not. It's getting there. You know, I had 3 weeks off, which was great. Spent a lot of time up in Idaho with Paulina and her family, and my son. So that was a lot of fun. And then was home and back in Florida last week. Did a little bit of practice. Played a lot of golf, but not too much practice. So I'm gonna go out and practice a little bit when I get done here.
I'm hoping to play a little better than I have the last 3 months, and have a little run like I did early in the year, and finish the year off really well and have a shot at winning the FedEx Cup. I've put myself in a great position to play. If I play well the next few weeks, then hopefully I can be in that top 5 going to Atlanta. That's obviously important, and then it's kind of all up to me whether I can win it from there. But it's nice to be in this position. I'm hitting it well. I have all year. I just haven't putted as well as I did at the start of the year the last few months since the Masters, and it's pretty much as simple as that. So I'm looking to putt a bit better. I've been working at it.
PGA Tour Aaron Oberholzer along for the ride. All those guys seem so confident. They always do, playing so well. But is anybody more confident than this player right here, Jason Day? What are the keys for him the next several weeks starting on Long Island?
You know, starting on Long Island, I think, Lisa, for him, basically to keep doing what you're doing, Jason, that's what I would tell him, especially inside of 50 yards. He's doing fantastic around the greens, on the greens. That's kind of his calling card. He's going to have 2 reachable par 5s on the front 9 this week. He's going to have one that he might be able to get to on the back, depending on if he can hit the fairway or not. Those are going to be his main scoring chances this week, and I would imagine he's going to pretty much beat up those par 5s. But for Jason to be successful this week, he needs the 7-iron through the wedge, which if you're going to nitpick and you're going to find a weak spot in his game anywhere, you can probably nitpick at his short iron play. Tends to get a little off at times. His trajectory tends to get a little off, and he has a hard time getting the ball around the hole with his trajectories kind of getting a little askew at times. So if you're gonna nitpick, which I am nitpicking, considering he's got a 3-point lead in the world rankings right now, that would be one area where he could improve. And it's going to be really important this week that he hits his distances, because you get above the hole out at Bethpage Black, it's going to be a long day for you playing a lot of defense on those greens.
It's kind of like complaining about Julia Child's cooking in a way.
Yeah,
but there you go.
Exactly.
Let's take a look at how the #1 players in the standings have fared over the years, going back to 2009. Tiger Woods, you see that win there, and then you have to go all the way to Jordan Spieth to get the other win. So pretty good gap there between 2009 and 2015, where they started and ended on top. The players who are 4th through 6th in the FedEx Cup standings, they have a 106 tee time tomorrow. Russell Knox, he's 4th in points, 2 wins this season, including the Travelers 3 weeks ago. Jordan Spieth, he's 5th in points, 2 wins this season. A lot of people forget about those 2 wins, but it's so important for Spieth. He's also 4th in the money. Brandt Snedeker, number 6 in points, 1 win this season in the Farmers Insurance Open. Let's hear from this trio as well about how they're feeling entering the playoffs.
Arguably the most important tournament of the year is this one, because if you can get here, now the points are ×4, I think. So if you're 125 on the list and you can have a great tournament this week, you can go all the way to East Lake. So this is potentially the most important tournament of the year for a lot of people. I mean, fortunately, I'm already locked up to go all the way, but it just makes it even more exciting for me. If I was to play well in one of these next couple events, then the chance of winning the thing increase. So at least give me a chance. So I look forward to it very much.
Well, like I said, it wasn't the first 2 events of the playoffs. I missed a cut in both of them, and that's the only time in my career I've missed 2 cuts in a row. Things are starting to take shape. I struck the ball nicely at the last 2 majors, my last 2 events, and just didn't really have my putter, which is, normally the putter's there. So I put a lot of work into that, into my ball striking I have, especially the second half of this year. It just takes, a couple rounds for it to click, and then we're back in a rhythm. So I have the potential to play my best golf of the year yet to come in these next 5-6 weeks, so I may as well grind and do what I can to make that a reality.
You just got to stay really patient and kind of realize you're going to have some bad stretch of holes out there, and know that just not to give any shots away. Grind and fight and do everything you can to make as many pars as you can. When you do have birdie putts, you need to make them, because you need to make up some shots because you're going to drop some. So that's the kind of mentality, and being patient and realizing it's going to be a tough test for everybody, not just you. So don't get down on yourself and kind of, go down a pity party kind of thing. You got to stay positive. So that's probably the hardest thing when you play a golf course like this.
Brandt uses a very good word in the term patient.
Yes.
You always need that in big events, major championships, and then once you get in the playoffs. Jordan Spieth, talking to the media today, he did seem very patient. He seemed very much in control with his emotions. We've seen him sort of slip out of that over times, but he did mention the putter and the things that he's been working on. Yeah,
the putter has been a little bulky for Jordan Spieth, and bulky meaning, for most guys, they would take his bulky putter over their regular putting game most of the time, but that'll come around for Jordan. That's a very natural part of his game, and it's something that's very easy for him to get back. The ball striking is what I'm more concerned about for Jordan, and it's not that far off. If you take a look at these stats right here, you look at what he's done now, what he's tried to do. He said he needed some more distance. He went out and got that distance over the last couple of years. 2-yard increase last year, and then all the way a big jump to 4 yards this year. Now that equates to a 6-yard difference between 2013 and 2016. Well, what's that going to do? He's got to get used to this new Jordan Spieth, who hits it a half a club longer on average off the tee. You can see his fairways are down, and because his fairways are down, he's not giving himself those same opportunities and not hitting the greens like he did last year, Lisa. It's going to be really important for Jordan to hit fairways this week. As we saw in some of the video there, you could see that the rough is up this week. He is going to have to hit the fairways this week to give himself those good opportunities, because once he gives himself those good opportunities, we know what Jordan Spieth can do when he's putting well.
Absolutely. From one former world #1 to another former world #1. Hard to believe Rory McIlroy has yet to win on the PGA Tour this season. He enters the playoffs 36th in the FedEx Cup standings. He'll be playing alongside Harris English and Daniel Summerhays. Rory talked about a lot of things involving his game with the media today, including the issues he's had with the putter.
Leaving Baltusrol, obviously I was very disappointed, and I needed to
think about a few things. I needed to assess where my game was and address a few issues. Obviously, I think I was #1 in strokes gained off the tee at Baltushaw, but I was near dead last in putting. So obviously that was something I needed to address. And big thing has been the path. You know, I went on Sam Putt Lab and club face was left and path was left. But it was more to do with what my hands were doing, sort of going up and left. And obviously with, you know, working with Dave over the last few years, it's very much left hand leading, but the left hand was leading, but it was going this way and left and up. So there's a variety of different putts you could hit by doing that. You know, you could hit a pull if the face matches a path. You could cut it if the face is slightly open but going that way. So all of a sudden I was missing, you know, it's like a two-way miss in the golf course. You're missing putts left, you're missing putts right, and you don't quite know why. You know, so getting on that and trying to improve the path will definitely help. And that's just the first part of it. I mean, the path is something that obviously if you can address it square and align it properly, if you can get that putter back to square at impact, then you've got the best chance of obviously starting out online. It's just about giving it good speed and giving it a good read.
Roy's obviously very focused on path right now.
Yeah.
When we heard him speak earlier, you also mentioned the mallet putter and something about GFI, API, I don't know,
MOI.
Yeah, that too.
A moment of inertia.
Explain all of it.
Well, I'll tell you. You know, it's hard to break down putting because there's so many nuances, and especially for Rory McIlroy. But basically, what he's talking about in a nutshell is that I break it down to one thing. And let's take a look at the video here and start to break it down. What I think is going on here. You need to have a connection point. Here's Rory McIlroy's stroke today during the Pro-Am. Looks a lot better, but what I really want you to take a close look at, I want you to take a look at his armpit, okay? He misses this putt, but more importantly, I want you to see that connection with the left armpit to the body, to the upper torso. I believe that this is crucial for all people who want to become a better putter or want to be a good putter. And what I really want to talk about is how to keep that connection. Okay, so basically there's physics involved with putting, okay? There's physics. You're using a putter that's at an angle, okay, right here. Now, that putter sits at 70 degrees, all right? Now, when that putter sits at 70 degrees, that has to move on an arc. Okay, it can't move straight back and straight through because it's already sitting at an angle. So if you try to move this putter straight back and straight through, what's going to happen is you're going to have to manipulate the blade. So in order to be able to keep it simple and move the putter down the arc and make sure that it's tracing the arc squarely with the face, if you can lock in this shoulder right here, if you can lock in this armpit right here to you and keep that into your side, now you can trace that line back and forth nice and easy. When you get disconnected like he was talking about, that blade can go all over the place and it can float and you can hit it off the toe, the heel, you can slice it, you can block it, you can pull it, all kinds of things can happen. But if you can keep that, whether you're a Dave Stockton believer or you're believe what Scotty Cameron teaches or Stan Utley teaches, which is to release the blade a little bit more and to use a little more hands, it doesn't matter. If you can keep this connection right here between your bicep and your torso, then the putter's going to track a lot better for you, and you're going to hit a lot more solid putts. And they're going to, more importantly for Rory, they're going to start where he's looking because that's the problem he's been having.
You explained that really well. I was a little distracted that you said armpit 3 times. I've never heard that on Golf Central, but you made a very valid point, so you get a pass on that one. Rory McIlroy, well, he is safely on the Ryder Cup team a couple days ago. Those automatic qualifiers, the 9 automatic qualifiers for Team Europe were set. And a lot of things going on, and Captain Darren Clarke still has 3 picks remaining, and that is coming up in just a few days. For more on Team Europe, we say hello to George Severikis for the first time. He's actually talking a whole big picture Ryder Cup live at Bethpage Black. What do you have for us, George?
Yeah, Lisa, we're going to focus on the American squad. And guys, 6th through about 12th on the U.S. Team Ryder Cup standings. They're trying not to fixate on one thing this week at the Barclays. That's the Ryder Cup bubble. There's been a lot of movement within that top 8 in the previous weeks, especially at the Wyndham. Last week, Brandt Snedeker finished in a tie for 3rd, vaulting all the way up to 6th. Right now, Patrick Reed occupies that 8th and final spot that would automatically qualify once things are set if everything ended today. And he has a number of guys with Ryder Cup experience just outside that top 8 trying to chase him down with 1 week to go.
I'm trying not to think about it at all. You know, obviously it's in the back of my mind. I really, you know, my main thing is to make that team. But I'm just trying to look at it as it's out of my control, and I'm just going to go out here and try to do the best I can, hit one shot at a time, and just try to stay as present as I can. And hopefully that's good enough to get on the team right off the bat. And if not, hopefully I'll be able to get a pick. You know, I've had a really good year. I've played well. I definitely want to be on the team. I think I can help them. So it's definitely something I'm looking forward to, and hopefully we'll make.
You'd rather make the team on points than get a pick. And not saying I'm going to get a pick, but I want to make it on points. I want to feel like I really earned it and got my spot. There's going to be a day that we win, and so I want to be on that team when we win. But anytime you can represent the United States, the country that I'm from, the country that I love, how would you not get excited about it and want to be there?
Yeah, obviously, this is the last chance to get some points, and outside that, we'll be fighting for a pick. So the Ryder Cup is always number one on my list when it's a Ryder Cup year. So that's always been the goal. Unfortunately, I haven't played as well as I would like to through the summer and the majors, which are especially a big part of earning points, since they're double points, but they're the biggest purses out there, so they have a big effect on the points list. I definitely would just like to have the opportunity to be there, as long as you're one of the 12 guys, whether you're on points or a pick. And you know, the picks obviously feel a little bit more pressure to perform and show like they belong, but being there before, being there as a pick, and also as earning my way, it's a special week no matter what, and I don't want to miss out. So I got some work to do, but we're ready for the challenge.
And what Bubba Watson said was kind of the common sentiment. None of these guys want to have to rely on being one of Captain Davis Love III's 4 picks in the weeks leading up to the Ryder Cup at Hazeltine. The one guy you didn't hear from, Matt Kuchar, who had to withdraw from the Pro-Am on Wednesday at the Barclays. Kuchar was not on site. His caddy, John Wood, was, though, walking the course. He withdrew due to an illness. He is, though, hoping to tee it up in the first round. Lisa.
And George, one player who doesn't have to worry about being a captain's pick is Phil Mickelson. He already has enough points to automatically qualify for the Ryder Cup for the 11th time. How does Phil feel about his game heading into this week?
I'd have to say overwhelmingly positive was kind of the gauge I got in my talk with Phil Mickelson during Wednesday's Pro-Am. He was out there with swing coach Andrew Getson getting some work done at Bethpage. Mickelson said he took 3 weeks off, was spending time with family, trying to kind of reset and recharge. Now he firmly has the FedEx Cup playoffs in his crosshairs. He said he's going to play all 4 events, a change from years past in which he would ordinarily skip one event because of how the majors were laid out. It's a rarity for him to get 3 weeks off in the summer. Mickelson trying to win the FedEx Cup for the first time in his career, and what better a course to start than at Bethpage, a course he's had some success, including that solo second in the 2002 U.S. Open. What does Lefty think about this layout? You'll hear from him, among others, later on Golf Central. Lisa.
We are looking forward to it. George Savaricas, thank you very much. Captain Love definitely has his hands full trying to decide who he's going to pick from this group. You'll remember after Wyndham, J.B. Holmes dropped out of that automatic qualifier spot, now sits at number 9. Then you think about guys like Bubba Watson, Matt Kuchar coming off the Olympics where he captured the bronze. Ricky Fowler's always a spirited player, so definitely a lot of hard choices to make. Still ahead on Golf Central, some reaction from a few of the players who didn't compete in the Olympics. Jordan Spieth addressed it and was very open and honest, as did Rory McIlroy. You'll hear from those guys coming up. Plus Lydia Ko, just 19 years of age. She's back in Canada trying to win another one there. She won when she was an amateur and a very young lady. She's still a young lady and still winning. Plus a lot of fun in the Big Apple, some unexpected fun with Patrick Reed and Jordan Spieth. You'll want to see this if you haven't seen it yet.
Golf Central is brought to you by the Titleist Pro V1 and Pro V1X. Make a difference in your game. Shipsticks, the largest golf bag shipping company in the world, simplifying the way you travel.